Hello, everybody. I am here to give Price McKinney simply put, and as always, I want to thank you for tuning in and listening. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, simply put with Price McKinney. YouTube, simply put podcast with your boy Price McKinney. Like, subscribe, watch a video, leave a comment. So go start this again. It just cut off just completely. Anyway, so love yourself. That's we're gonna dive right into this head first. Why is that important? First of all, you got to know who you are, right? Because when you know who you are, it sets a boundary and it tells you what you're going to do, and it also tells you what not to do. Why? Because, for example, simply put, is my lane, right? I'm not veering off or merging into something else that somebody else is doing because that's not what I am. That's not who I am. I know that Price McKinney is Mr. Simply Put. I know this. Now, prior to that, years ago, and I got to say this, I did not know who I was. And so when you don't know who you are, you literally become defined by other people's opinions. So, in essence, what happens is what they tell you you are and what they tell you you're supposed to be doing is all that you have to hang on to. So you literally build a character as Price McKinney as what they say I am. Price McKinney doing what they tell me to do because I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. Right? Now that I know me and I know what I'm supposed to be doing, now I could love myself because it's not hinged on somebody else's opinion. People's opinions do not define who you are. You got to discover who that is for yourself, right? So now that I love myself, what your opinion is, depending on what you say and what you think, probably don't matter. I'm being very polite. And the reason why is because I don't live in that world anymore. I can't. It costs too much. It takes too much away. And like my my son has this expression that he uses. I used to stay butthurt because somebody was always tap dancing on my feelings and getting on my nerves because everything was predicated on what somebody else said. So I lived in a world where that was that's what I became because I didn't know. So now that I love myself, what somebody else says, what somebody else thinks is more often than not irrelevant. Now I've got a handful of people that I keep myself accountable to. Now if they tell me something about me because they've watched me grow, they watched the ups, the downs, the struggles, the highs, so they qualify to say what they say. And I know the place from which their saying comes from because they want to see me win. They want to see me become the best I could possibly be, right? So those people are people that I listen to, but somebody else randomly, I, I can't. So you just if you do, and I'm just figuring to this, I'm with your boy, you wasting your time. I'm not gonna fire a shot back. I'm not gonna give you, as they say, I'm gonna give you a whole lot of energy. I'm not doing it because I spent too much time doing that. Now that I love me, I know who I am. I know what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm in my lane. I'm not merging into doing what somebody else is doing. I have no interest in that. If that's what you do, this is your lane, have at it. I will support you if I can. But me getting involved in that's not gonna happen. So here's why loving yourself is important. Okay. When you don't and you try to love somebody else, you know what you're doing? And I'm telling you this because I've done it. I just discovered this recently in assessing myself. You are literally pouring from an empty cup. You cannot give what you don't have, ma'am, sir. You can't. So you're trying to love somebody from an empty place because you don't have love for you. And so now you're wondering why. And I've seen it. I've been a part of it. I've literally done it. And you wonder why the person that you're involved with, be it your significant other or your spouse, you wonder why their needs are not being met. And I'm not even talking about sexually. That's a part of it, but I'm not. That's not where I'm at with this. Their needs are not being met because you don't know how to, because you never started with yourself. So what you're giving them is a perception of what you think love is, or you're giving them the love that you think they're supposed to have versus what they're asking you to give. So you're in a real sense, you're giving them love off of an instinct that you've seen. And most of us have no freaking clue what love actually is. We have no clue what it looks like. Now, some of us have the fortune of having, a set of parents, or a set of grandparents, or a set of great grandparents, perhaps even an aunt and an uncle that have been married for eons. Those are few and far between, right? So you're going off of what you saw and what you think and believe it to be, not necessarily what that person actually wants from you. This is why communication is important. And at some point in just about every video I do, I have to mention communication, because communication is key. That is the foundation. That's the concrete that you pour to build a relationship on top of. If you don't have communication, you're done. I don't care what relationship it is, be it your significant other, be it business, be it employer, it, sports, you name it. If you don't have communication, parent, child, it across the board, it's not going to work. So again, loving yourself is significant, and it's very important. It's vital to the existence of your relationship, because once you love you, there is a confidence that comes with that. Now, I please understand and hear me clearly when I say this, and I'm not being funny. I'm being serious. The confidence that I now have in myself, right? I'm not arrogant. I'm not stuck up. Now, I have had people to tell me that I was, and oh well, that is your opinion of me. Again, your opinion does not define who I am. But there's a confidence that I have, and there's a certainty and an assurance, because this is where I am. I know Price McKinney. He likes this, he likes this, he likes this, he likes this. He's not finna deal with this. So there are things that I have patience for. There are things that I may even tolerate, but across the board, I at least know what that is now. Versus everything being random and up for grabs, and you and accepting this and tolerating that and putting up with this and dealing with that. All of this extra stuff that ain't got, as one of my buddies used to say, ain't got nothing to do with nothing. But because I didn't know, I'm an octopus. I'm reaching for everything that comes my way. And that wrong, wrong answer. Stand on who you are, believe in you, and love on yourself. I don't mean just tell yourself you love you. Show yourself you love you. Do some things for you that you like, void of anybody else. I've got two sons. I love them to life. They are my wife. I've been on my job for the amount of time that I have, because I wanted to show them something different. I wanted to show them what a dad looks like, a working father, what a working dad looks like. Do I get it right all the time? No, I trust me. That's a whole nother episode. But they're the reason why I've stayed this long and gonna continue to stay, because I wanted to be an example for them, right? So the confidence and the person that I've become now, there are things that are just set in stone. Now that doesn't mean, when I say set in stone, that doesn't mean I don't give myself any wiggle room, any grace. Now I am hard on myself, and I've had to have people tell me, dude, take your foot off the gas, man. It's not that serious. It's not that deep. Now in that moment for me it is, but I sometimes I have to have people to pull me up. Hey man, just cool out, calm that down. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. But now that I know that this is who I am, I can make better decisions for myself. And in so doing, this and as time goes on, and as long as I've been single this time, I now understand even more why I've been single as long as I have, because I am working on me. So that when the time comes for me, and I will know that, to start dating and I pick whoever it is, there's a whole lot of stuff she's not gonna have to deal with, because I've been in the lab and I've put the time in and I've done the work to get myself where I need to be and to make myself become better. But one of the things I could not say in front of you that I have done historically until now is love myself. Because it is easy. It is so easy. It's simple. It's simple. No effort whatsoever. You can look at yourself and you can find everything wrong. There's no effort in that. But look at you and find what's right and focus on that. Once you start doing that, watch that list of what's wrong with you. The list of what's right was will override that. And you'll see that list start shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and get smaller and smaller and smaller. Because you'll start seeing the good in you over the bad in you and over what's wrong with you. I'm going to leave with this. Instead of, and this is a part of loving yourself, instead of, and people say this all the time, it runs me up a wall, but I get it. I understand it, because, and the reason why this bothers me like it does is because I did it for so many years. So I know what it's like, and I know the consequences of it. Well, what's wrong with me? Let's flip the script, folks. Player, sir, ma'am, ask yourself this question. What's right with me? And sit on it. What's right with me? Instead of, well, what's wrong with me? Well, why hadn't anybody chose me? Why don't anybody look at me? I put this on. I put that on. I got on the suit. I got on the chain. I got my hair cut. My beard is, why ain't nobody, what's wrong with me? Well, I got my hair done. I put on the dress. Put my pumps on. I squirted some perfume on I ain't put on in a long time. And it's an expensive one. Why he ain't looking at me? What's wrong with me? Mm-mm. Stop that. Just cut that off. Just stop. Ask yourself what's right with me, and love yourself. I'm not saying be perfect. I'm not saying that you don't have faults and flaws, because God in heaven knows I got my own. That's why I stay to myself, because I got plenty that I'm working on. But at the end of the day, make that list of what's right with you bigger than what you see is wrong, and start loving you for who you are. There's something in you, ma'am, sir. There's something that's there that only you can do the way that you do it. And it's up to you to find it, figure that out, and discover what it is and how to do it. But it's there. And again, instead of looking at everything that's wrong, why you can't, and the excuses, figure it out, find it out, make that thing happen. Love yourself, love you, and put you first. Your boy, simply put. I'm Price McKinney. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, simply put with Price McKinney. YouTube, simply put podcasts on Tuesdays. I'm not an expert. I just know what I know, and I promise you, I will see you soon.